Okay, it looks like we are live here. So, welcome everyone to this week's edition of the live stream painting demo. My name is Eben Schumacher, and today I'm just going to be running through. I actually don't really know what I'm going to be doing today. I am kind of just going to dive right in and not really have any forethought as to what I'm gonna put forward here. So as you are popping in and checking out the stream, I am looking at the YouTube and Facebook comments here. Feel free to drop a note or an idea or anything you would like to see during this stream. I will do my best to include it or consider it in some way as I move forward. So, without further ado, let's get going here. It actually just occurred to me that this is my ninth stream, and it only just occurred to me that I don't need to be wearing my my headphones while I do this. So yeah, I just got a quick sound check, and we should be good to go. If you have any problems with the audio, feel free to drop a comment as well. Yeah, so I'm gonna start out with a nice wide canvas here. I don't think I've done one of these on a stream in a little while. I would say this is where I'm most comfortable. So I'm just gonna start sketching some stuff in, and feel free to call out anything you see, or let me know if there's anything you really want to see happening with this. Again, I really have no clue what it is I'm putting down here, and I'm trying to. I started to settle into my usual landscape rhythm there, with kind of the single distant focal point and some supportive perspective. But I'm gonna try to mix it up a little bit today. Every time I feel like I'm sort of sliding into my comfort zone, I'm gonna try to push myself out of it a little bit. We're gonna see how that works. Welcome, Vieira. Nice to see you here again. So you have caught me at the formative phase of this particular piece. Don't really have any idea how this is going to turn out, or what it is I'm going to be making here. So feel free to drop any suggestions or ideas if they come to you, and I'll definitely take them into consideration as I move forward here. Right now I'm just kind of creating a bit of a visual theme with some of these almost like these wedge shapes around here, and I don't know if those are going to be rocks or some kind of human structure or anything like that. I'm just kind of feeling it out. Hey Jose, nice to see you here. Yeah, I've already established some loose perspective here. Sort of something of a ravine with a path going through it. And I think just because I love doing this, I'm going to try to exaggerate that perspective even more. A little cheat here. Actually, stretch this out. Create some nice lines leading away from this the end of the path here. Maybe even skew the perspective a little bit so it's a bit more disorienting, you know. But yeah, just kind of feeling this out, seeing what looks right here. Again, I'm just trying to push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit with this one, and try to avoid doing the same stuff I do all the time. We'll see if that happens or not. Maybe do some cool arches going out over here. Be kind of neat. Actually, let me do a little shortcut here. Grab this real quickly, copy and paste it, flip it over here. Someone was mentioning, maybe it was you, Jose. I think it was you. Having some kind of crowd or doing something like that. And truthfully, it's not something I have too much experience with, but maybe... Oh, a fly just flew in my mouth. That happens more than I'd like to admit. Thinking maybe we can have... we can incorporate a crowd somewhere here. Maybe we'll push this in a bit more of a architectural direction, you know, sort of combine these natural elements with some sharper hard lines here and there. Maybe we won't even leave any of those natural elements in towards the end there. Probably gonna try to open this up a little bit, actually. I tend to definitely tend to close off the borders of my paintings a bit too often, so I'm gonna try to prevent myself from doing that as well. Try to keep it a bit more open. Fly, yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know if I'm just waging this war every day with the fruit flies here, and I feel like that's just the recurring issue with these streams. But I don't know. I wouldn't say I've given up, but definitely willing to admit that I don't have too much control over it at the moment. And it's just kind of the season for it. They'll go away eventually. Or so I'm telling myself. off this. See how we're doing here. Make a little thing at the top. And I'm just kind of feeling this whole thing out. Just keeping it super rough. Trying to simplify some areas, perhaps. Oh yeah, well, congrats on the commission, and well, we'll see what happens. I'm sure there are better places to find a tutorial on that, but you know, I can give that a whirl here, and we'll see what happens with it. I'd be interested to see how competent I would be with something like that. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of this being starting to become more of a village type thing, you know, or some kind of entryway to sort of a fortress under the mountain, you know. Couple guards here hanging out by the entryway. Yeah, we can start just popping in some of these people here and there wherever they fit. Probably just have this walkway go all the way across. I'm not even sure what I'm doing here, but that's the fun part. It's kind of like a double gate kind of thing. Should probably find some references for this, but I'm just gonna wing it. Have some objects around here and there. Maybe this place has a little garden or something out front with some flower boxes. And a little some stone steps leading down. Could be kind of nice. This can be sort of a maybe like a cobblestone kind of thing. Some puddles or something. Some little stepping stones going out there. Oh, hey there, Kaj. Welcome to the stream. I don't think I've seen you here before. Just had to manually scroll down to those bottom of those Facebook comments there. Oh yeah, this can be maybe this can be a staircase going up to I don't know, what should we put here? Some kind of doorway. That's kind of cool. Maybe just keep repeating this theme with these buildings here. This is kind of your typical A-frame setup, but we can establish more of a solid aesthetic later on. Yes, first time, welcome. They're Fiera and Jose have become some of the regulars here, so I do this every week. Feel free to check in anytime if you want to make sure you get notifications about it. You can follow the Facebook page or sign up for the email list on my website, which is in the link there, and you get a free digital art pack if you sign up for that email list. So that's kind of fun. That's my my plug for the for the stream. Yeah, let's make this into a bit more of a solid doorway here. Let's see. Make a game fan art. Would you consider a portfolio material? Yeah. It's definitely. I'd say the most important thing with the portfolio that I've found is just making sure it's sort of there's a high degree of volume, so it shows that you've created a lot of work, and it's also cohesive. So all that work kind of shows a similar style and a similar unique approach, something that stands out about your work, or like something that you specialize in. I think that's what people tend to gravitate towards, and also the quality as well. But if it's a piece you really think shows your personal style and like how you might approach the artwork of that game, or bring something unique to the table, that's definitely something you can throw on there. Yeah, I struggle with keeping my portfolio cohesive. I'm still at the point where I haven't quite identified my complete artistic style, or exactly what I want to specialize in, and I'm pretty comfortable with that, and like I just love trying out different things and exploring different subjects and styles and techniques, but I don't put all of that on my portfolio. I'll just explore it on my own time and maybe throw it on my Instagram, and my Instagram's just kind of a mess of of different stuff, but yeah, you want to reserve your best work for your portfolio, and it should all look like it belongs there together. I don't know what I'm probably spending a bit too much time trying to figure out this archway. I might just get rid of it. Doesn't seem to be blending well with anything else here. Actually, maybe what I can do is I can just take this. Let's just move it down. That's a little bit cooler. I don't know. Just experimenting with stuff. That kind of jives well with the the other kind of A-frame aesthetic we have here. Maybe have some kind of symbol or something there, or maybe just a person standing guard. Something silhouetted against the sky out there. And I'm not sure what's gonna happen over here. Maybe I'll have a character kind of. Yeah, let's get some nice story elements going here. I'm definitely biting off way more than I can chew with this piece. But maybe we'll have kind of a procession of some kind coming in through this gateway. I'll just kind of make some loose things to indicate that. Just stick figure stuff. Maybe I'm just yeah. I'm liking this sketch right now too. It remains to be seen whether or not it will continue to hold up, but I think it's pretty promising so far. It's a bit of a mess, but hopefully we'll be able to clarify a lot of this. And I'm gonna try to avoid making this a 2-part video, but if it's if it needs the time, we can definitely do that. Sometimes hard to. I do like doing the speed paintings, but for something like this, it may require some more attention. Maybe I'll have some other people kind of gathered over here, sort of leaning in. I'm just gonna map out that gesture. Someone's like looking around the corner here. And then this will be our, I guess I didn't need to completely erase that, but this can be our protagonist. Who is a series of triangles. That's her thing. Or his thing, not sure. Whoever it is, they have a dress or a robe of some kind. Sorry, keep this I think the nibs I got with this pen are kind of cheap, so they wear down pretty quick, and I get this one little loose bit. Yes. Okay. We're good. Very strange. All right, let's just keep going here. Awesome. We are back. So yeah, I'm just gonna. Here's our character here. I think it's probably about time I start the painting part of this, but I'm just gonna map out a doorway. Some steps here. God, there are gonna be a lot of people in this one. Maybe someone's like trying to prevent her from going out and looking. Yeah, so like off the top of my head right now, I'm thinking maybe. I mean, this is gonna be our main character here. Let's do a little analysis. um, Main character. There's her. Some supporting characters. Everyone's kind of hiding behind the wall, including this guy. This guy's kind of a coward. I'm starting to get the sense that these might be sort of, you know, bad guys, or some kind of intimidating, imposing figure here. Another thought would be to have like maybe they're bringing a stretcher, like a wounded soldier back from the war, you know, or their king or something. I don't know. We'll see how it pans out. Anyway, I guess I can just delete this. I think that's like pretty much enough information. I think just because, just to make it a little less flat here, I think I may want to skew this wall a bit. Have it coming coming in at a bit of an angle, so it's not just straight across here. That'd be a little boring. So you'll see a bit of this, I'm still in the red pen mode here. You'll see a bit of this wall going up like that, and this one too. You'll see some of this stuff kind of get a bit more three-dimensional here. Get out my my builder brush here. Start creating some cleaner lines. Maybe I'll have another little building over here. It's turning out to be a pretty complex scene. Maybe I'll have a little flag waving. Whoops. Still not crazy about the design of this area up here. I might want to get that straightened out before I start painting. Maybe I'll just have the street artist, yes. The underappreciated side character in this saga. In every saga, really. Welcome to my pity party. Maybe have some kind of overhang or something here. This is a point where it'd be good to get some reference inspiration for this kind of architecture, you know, because I'm kind of like, I have a pretty limited shape vocabulary, I think. I'm just gonna shrink the skate down a little bit even more. Let's actually take this whole thing, give it a bit of 2-point perspective. Help to increase the scale a bit. Oh yeah. And this whole thing is it's just kind of asking for too much attention here. I'm gonna try to simplify this as much as I can. I think that's a little bit easier to process, and all this perspective isn't quite on point yet, but we'll get there. Yeah, I think that's kind of cool. It's a little better. Make some little side towers here. Or maybe not. Maybe we'll just have some guards up here hanging out, doing what they do. Yeah, I think this is better. This is a bit more clear. Yeah, it's kind of almost like it's its own building, And then we can actually, with that in mind, this wall is pretty thin to me, so I'm gonna thicken it up a little bit. I like this this builder brush. By the way, if you are interested, I think some people have asked about this one before. This is just, I'll show you. It's just a rectangular brush with. I've turned the transfer off. For most brushes, the transfer is on, which gives it sort of pressure sensitivity. But that does, you can create a straight line by holding down Shift and clicking on one point and then clicking on another point. I think I just messed this brush up somehow, so I'm going to switch back to it. But with this one, because it doesn't have transfer on, you can it creates just a solid line between 2 points, which most of the other brushes will not do. So it's really useful for mapping out architectural stuff, that kind of thing. And I'm also noticing now it's kind of great for sketching, just because it forces you to make some really clear, conscious decisions about how you're gonna set everything up. So I'm just mapping out some more perspective lines here before I move into the next phase. Just real loosely, so I can get a bit more clarity here. Some of these shapes. Usually don't sketch with such a thick brush, but it's working out pretty well here. Just helps to simplify things a bit. Maybe we'll even have another little person here. We'll have a house up on this, up here on the hill, under this ledge as well. Maybe with a path that kind of goes down like that. And these will be our imposing figures, whatever it is they're doing. They're just kind of riding into town, doing, maybe this one has a spear, something like that. Doing what it is they do. This is our triangle lady. And this is our cowardly dude over here. Kind of trying to hold her back. There's a lot going on here. Yeah, I think this has the potential to be a pretty cool scene. So I'm just gonna kind of loosely key in some cloud things up here, and we'll call this our sketch. Call that done. We can name it sketch. And sketch, yeah. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good either way. This line's kind of bothering me, so I'm just gonna kind of back it up a little bit. Yeah, I think this lady might be leaning a bit too much, but we'll see. The perspective is really pretty exaggerated with this one. So, you know, and I want to show you real quickly here. I want to get some make sure our flow's working well. So we got this guy's coming in from over here. She's coming up from here. All this stuff's leading in. This stuff's leading in here. This is coming in here. Everything's kind of working. This might be a bit of a tangent. We'll have to revisit later. That will depend. I could also smooth that over by lowering the contrast. You know, maybe making this whole thing one shape. That might work. This is leading us down here. This is kind of leading us in from the top. This is coming out here. This might be a bit of a blocker to the flow. Maybe I can find some way to modify that a little bit. This is bringing us up over here, back down this way. This is bringing us around. This is bringing us in from the top. There's a chance this might just shoot us right out the top, but maybe I can block it off with some clouds. But here we go. think that's all looking pretty good. All right. Let's get into our painting layer here. Now there are a couple ways we could approach this, but I'm gonna copy that sketch, bring the opacity down, and let's just start establishing some mood here. Oh, hey, Shalandra. Doing perspective. Yeah, at this point, I generally just kind of eyeball it. You can always, I've had a bit of practice sort of trying to get a lot of those things right. I'm actually just noticing this one's a bit off. But yeah, it's more of an intuition. I have in mind where I'd say for most of these lines, they're all kind of converging in this general direction, or there are a couple different vanishing points we're working with here. The gate is going off to one that's way off screen. This one's kind of going off in this direction a little bit. So I like to bear that in mind. Things that like you would expect to be somewhat aligned, like these two houses on the right side here. You want them to be kind of sharing the same perspective lines, and also things like stairs, that kind of thing. You want them to be in sync with one another, but there's no complete common vanishing point for this whole piece. There are a lot of different suggested planes that I've just kind of loosely keyed in. All right, let's delete that. Make a new layer here. Let's use a gradient or something to set the tone. Just fill out all that white space. Doesn't really matter too much what I put down here, but I'll just get the ball rolling. I think that's pretty good start. I'm just gonna kind of sort of cue in the sky color a bit more. Oh, that's a bit too green. Maybe this will be a bit more. Yeah, it's pretty decent mood. And what else? Yeah, let's just start. There's definitely some leaning going on, and that's just sort of part of my exaggerated 2-point perspective here. I might have overdone it a little bit more, but all these lines towards the edges, or all the vertical lines, are actually converging on a single perspective point way up above the canvas. So they're not intended to be straight up and down here, and that's just helping me to create a bit more of a three-dimensional space. So I'm just gonna kind of pick some of these. I guess I'll just jump right in, start putting some color down. Start building it up a little bit. I know this is going to be kind of silhouetted here. And I'm trying to think of where I want my oh yes, thanks Vera. Thanks for tuning in, and yeah, check it out tomorrow or anytime. The streams will be up on Facebook and YouTube, so check them out whenever you want. What was I saying here? Yeah, I'm just trying to think about how I want to set up my lighting. And thinking, I want this character to stand out. So it would should either be light on dark or vice versa. I'm kind of feeling more of a dark on light vibe for her. Which means this area will have to be lit somehow. It could just be sort of an ambient light, but I think most of this piece will be, well, I don't know. I'm still not sure what I want to do for the mood of this whole thing. This will probably be quite a bit brighter here. Maybe some clouds and things happening there. I want some of these figures to be silhouetted against that doorway. I'm starting to feel a bit more of a warm, well-lit street here. It's just sort of what I'm seeing. So I'm just gonna try to map out these colors real quick while they're in my mind. Create some hue variation here. It's always fun. Maybe we will just have sort of a top-down light source here, and that'll be kind of fun. We'll get to experiment with some warm versus cool light, some ambient reflected light. You know what, I think I'll actually just get rid of this overhang here so we can let more light into this whole image. Maybe have sort of a cast shadow falling on this building. That'll help to keep focus over here. Oh my god. Lost your Apple Pencil for 2 weeks and you were drawing with your fingers. That's I don't know if I could do that. I would probably just use Photoshop at that point. I don't know. It could be an interesting experiment, but I don't know if I could create anything of decent quality doing that. So props to you for giving that a try. It's gonna be some warm reflected light here on this gateway. Also probably within here as well, and along here. All these planes that are sort of facing in towards the road. I'm starting to get the feel for this mood a bit better now. It's definitely starting to clear up a bit. You want some really bright areas here along the road, and that's going to contrast with some nice blue shadows reflecting the sky. That might even be a bit too dark. We'll keep putting that blue wherever we have shadows here. That's going to be a bit of a deeper shade over here. I'm not sure what the local color of these buildings are going to be yet, but we will see. I'm just kind of mapping out some values for the time being. Maybe even have a little bit of reflected light, not too much, down here. This roof will be catching a lot of that skylight, which definitely makes me kind of reconsider how that's set up there, because it's sort of forming this strange shape over here. So maybe this will be in shadow for the most part. Just have some, and in here as well. Let's just select out this area. I feel like this whole doorway is kind of out of place in some way, but we will revisit that. And I'm just thinking, just to help create some tension around these characters here, we're just gonna have some nice red. Yeah, I'm not sure I like this whole thing here. Let's just make this a bit smaller. It's kind of taking up a lot of our page here. This giant door just exists for no reason. some other figures here in the doorway. Maybe there won't be quite as much reflected light in here as I've put there. Let's just sort of darken this up, simplify it for now. And these characters be sort of lit by some of that direct light. And then let's go back here. Start thinking about, oof, that's intense. Dial that back a bit. Start thinking about our character here. Just casting a bit of the shadow, even though there's no direct light here. Will be something of a shadow from the ambient light. This will be sort of a bluish, where the stone is in shadow. All right. Darken it even more for this guy. Everything that's going on back here is going to be pretty dark. See how this looks without the sketch. Yeah, it's coming through a little bit. I think we got some more work to do before we can start working without it. We add some darker violets on their shadow side. It's maybe a little too dark. Let's help to create some color interest and some contrast as well. Some of these guys are going to be in shadow, so we're just going to take that same purple and put it back here. We don't want to forget our figures up here. People that are standing over by the side here. Maybe some people lining the streets as well. And then there's this little path that goes up here. Alright, I'm gonna sand down this nib again. Perfect. Oh, and we were thinking of having some other buildings over here, perhaps. Maybe a bit over here. I have some reflected light in these greens here. Everywhere where the grass is in shadow. Even some bouncing up on the side of this building, perhaps. All right, I think that's sufficient to establish our mood and maybe move on with the next step in this painting and just start refining some things. And I can always bring up this sketch as a reference. But yeah, let's just dive right in here and start creating some stuff. I'm actually gonna go back to some of these Greg Rutkowski brushes just because they're super fun. Just bringing up the intensity of that blue here and there, just for the fun of it. Keeping it real loose still. I might just continue this building. I don't know. I gotta think of a different way to approach this section. Maybe there'll be a fence or something here. I'm not sure. But I'll probably just make this a bit taller. Maybe have this be part of a larger building. I think that's what I'll do. I'm just gonna start messing around with the architecture a bit. Give it a little bit of stylization. You'll sort of mix this with some reds and things like that. Give some nice color variety here. Oh, that's intense. I don't know where that blue-green came from, but maybe we'll have a window up here or something. Give this house a bit more character. I don't know. The house is a big mess over there. I'm not going to pay too much attention to it at the moment. I'll probably have to go in and do a bit more deliberate designing later on, but for now let's just leave it as is. And make sure the lighting looks right. Which it seems to for the most part. Let's see what else. I wanted to have some steps here. And a little roof here. Maybe a couple more kind of like that. Keep that pattern going. What else? Probably return to this figure here and make sure she's properly mapped out. And this one here. Kind of reaching out like that. Just trying to create some sort of base texture here. Some base color as well. This is all a bit intense at the moment, but we can always dial things back later. Whoops. Hey there, Nick. Glad to hear it's looking good. Starting to get a little lost here, as I typically do around this point, but but yeah, I think we're looking at a pretty good concept overall. Definitely have established some nice mood here. I'm just kind of going around and adding in a bit of texture and some detail here and there. Getting kind of hung up on this this building here, but still just trying to keep it nice and loose. looks a little better than it did before. There's a bit more texture to it. Could probably dial up the intensity of this grass now. Give it some more brightness and warmth. As well as this road where the figures are sort of jumping in here. Start finding this citadel here. Just some loose, there's some reflected light down there. The coming from or going to that door, you know, that's a great question. I guess at this point it could be either. I've so far been imagining them coming from it. But well, there's still time. If the something works better, I might just go for it. Yeah, I think we've got some good colors here, some good texture, so I think it's about time we just sort of start to get in there and do a little bit of drawing, a little clarifying of these shapes. I'm going to grab this lasso tool and let's see, what do I want to do here? Maybe I'll just do something like that. Got some warmth here. A little directionality to that light. And just a bit of clarity to these shapes here, some hard edges here and there. Invert that, add a bit more of an edge here. Let's maybe go in and let's try this brush here. Just create some little divots and rocky things going on. Maybe it's a bit too detailed for where we want to be right now, but we'll see. It's just sort of what I'm feeling at this point. can actually bump up the lightness here, do a little highlight at the top of some of these bricks. That'll really help them stand out a bit. We can do the same thing in the shadow area. Just keep this brick pattern going. Bear in mind where the perspective is leading us. And I'll also start to think about maybe expanding on the style of this place a little bit. Think of how these buildings can be adjusted to be a bit more unique, you know. Actually gonna take some orange, just sort of go around the edge of this light. That's gonna give it a nice, maybe that's a little too intense, but I'll give it a bit of a nice diffused effect. All right, that's some nice detail in that area. So let's check out these steps here. Actually, I think there's a little path. It's going over that way. The path should be well lit. Just gonna map out some of these steps. Yeah, this is definitely gonna be a two-part two-part video here. Getting into some real details, but I'm liking the way it's shaping out so far. Probably darken this up a little bit. Maybe even more. That's a bit too much. And I think all of that is pretty unnecessary, so I'm just gonna take it back a few steps. Maybe just sub this out with that blue, maybe a little bit of blue-green from the reflected from the grass here. I don't know. We can even have, it almost looks like there's some filtered light coming through here, so maybe we can have this be kind of a bit of a transparent roof here. Like it has some spots where the sun can shine through. Maybe there's some things hanging out front. I'm spending way too much time on this building over here. But that looks pretty good so far, so we're just going to keep that the way it is. And just develop some of these other buildings over here. Just sort of create the impression of some rooftops over here. Maybe the same thing on this side. I think these are looking a bit colorless right now, so I'm just gonna add in some bolder tones here and there. Some nice warm colors. I was going to add a window here, wasn't I? I'll just put that in as kind of a note to myself. Maybe I won't end up doing that, but we'll see. Some people hanging out here, maybe by this stone wall. There's going to be a lot of people in this. Just gonna create a little bit of variety in this grassy area. Maybe there's some other plants there. Who knows? And likewise, we can take some of that same shadow color and bring it over here, just to sort of balance things out a bit, where there might be some shadowed foliage there. Right, and there was gonna be a little one up here. I'm just getting real into the zone here, so I apologize if I'm forgetting to speak. But yeah, feel free to drop any questions or anything like that. Otherwise, just keep hanging out and watching this thing unfold here. Yes, there was a little path that went up here. I don't know what all this stuff is, so I'm just gonna get rid of that. Yeah, there's a little path going up the hill to this house right here. Seems like kind of a cool place to live, don't you think? I think everything over here is overall a bit too intense, so I'm actually just gonna let's take my you might hate me for this, but I'm just gonna kind of really just sort of smush this stuff. Doesn't need to be that detailed or complex over here, so I'm just gonna smush it, and that'll help us just draw a bit more focus to our main scene over here. Still not really sure what I want to do with this area, but it's really not too important. It's better to I think to leave it sort of undeveloped than to draw too much attention to it, you know. Just gonna try to make it look real simple here. We can always come back and create some details and things like that later on. All right. So what else have we got here? Definitely, I think I'm building these things up at a good pace. Nothing's too distinctly defined at this point, so maybe what I will do is start to define our visitors a bit more clearly here. course, I say that, then I start working on this road, but it'll all come together when it needs to. Oh yeah, that looks really nice. Can even go a bit darker with it in some areas. Sorry about that. Trying to blow this fly away from my face. Just ongoing battles with the flies. Even have a little bit of green out here in the road if we want. Maybe not though. Kind of sticks out a bit too much. Let's get the lasso tool here. Start mapping out the tops of these steps. Bring out our dry brush for that. Give them a bit of warmth near the highlights. And then a bit of coolness where they're cast in shadow. Oh my god. One of these days, I will win. The flies will know my pain. All right, that's you know, that's something. Maybe I'll have it more shadowed down here. Actually, going back to that section there, and getting close to the point where I'll probably wrap this up. But in the meantime, let's get some nice warm reflected light happening on the bottom of these steps. That might be a bit too much. Let's take that down a notch. Make that a bit darker. Thank you, Shalandra. I'm glad it's looking good. I think it's looking pretty good as well. On light, I've not done anything like that. If that is something you would like to see, I'd be happy to do a stream where that's a bit more of a focus. Oh, thank you, Jose. That's really great. I'm glad this is shaping up. Yeah, Shalandra's asking on YouTube if I've done a stream on light, and I don't think I have. So if that's something you guys want to see, I'm definitely using a lot of my lighting tricks and techniques here. If that's something you want to see more of, with a bit more explanation, I'd be happy to do something like that. Yeah, there's going to be a hard focus, I think, on this figure in the front. Everyone else behind him is going to be kind of secondary. So yeah, Jose, thinking about these crowds here. I'll see if I can explain a bit what I'm doing. I mean, you might be able to see as well, but I'm just kind of doing some, I do basically the the line with a dot on top of it as a starting point for these. And for a lot of it, especially the ones that are out towards the back here, that may be enough. And maybe if they have spears or something like that, that'll be sticking up. But there's no need to be too specific where it's not demanded in the piece. Yeah, and then I'm just thinking about where the light's going to be hitting them. In this case, it's pretty clear. It's just one single light source. But also there's this is a bit of a mini light demo here. I have the sky light. It's actually a bit too green here, but reflected in this shadow. So his shadow is actually a pretty bright blue color. And then we also have the sort of yellowish gray warm reflected light bouncing up onto the bottom of his cloak here, and I've exaggerated it a bit, but it's more of a dullish red color. Might have gone a bit too far with it, but and then where there's a shadow, it's going to be more of a violet, where it's the blue of the sky combining with the red of the cloak here, or the figure's dress. So I've kind of defined areas where the light would be hitting here, and everywhere else I'm just sort of mapping out this shadow color. It's a little creepy, actually. I don't know what these figures are, what they're doing here. I guess nobody does. That's why they're all standing outside. Yeah, actually, I'll definitely consider putting something or doing a little stream here with more lighting stuff. I mean, there's really, you can you can learn quite a bit about light and how it's affected in different ways. But once you get the basics down, you can pretty much, it's sort of a calculation, based on where your light source is and what it hits first, and how that's reflected onto other things, and stuff like that. The yeah, spooky looking indeed. Yeah, and how the light is going to combine with the local color of the object too. That's pretty important to be thinking about. And even this shadow here is going to be affected by the native color of the stone. So I think I'm actually going to push it a bit more towards the sky blue and the gray that we see elsewhere here. Add some deeper shadows here and there. This is an interesting scene we have here. I'm not really sure what's going on, but it's it's kind of intriguing. We want to know what's happening. I'm actually going to move this guy over a bit. Just because I want this main figure to stand out a little bit. I don't want them to be too similar. But he'll get his staff too. I think Nick's still in here, so just want to let him know that making sure everyone gets a staff here. No characters complete without their staff, or in this case, maybe they're more of a spear. I'm not sure. Yeah, and we'll have a few of those kind of sticking out. Whoops. That's a bit overkill, wasn't it? Nice. This is looking kind of cool. Just gonna try to ground these guys a bit more with some deeper shadows right below them. thoughts on horse silhouettes? It's a pretty open-ended inquiry, but thoughts on them? Well, never. I don't have too much experience with that. Haven't really attempted one in a while. It can never hurt to get a good reference going for something like that, especially if you don't have too much experience with it prior. Yeah, I kind of originally had thought of these guys as coming in on horses or something like that, but it seems like they're more of a weird cult at this point. So we'll see how that plays out. Or like a cult with some spears, or I'm not sure what's going on here. Yeah, here's an example of I don't think this is totally accurate the way I've done it here, but you have the green, warm green light bouncing off of a cool violet shadow. You're gonna get sort of a gray. See where my cursor is here? It's pretty much just a mid-tone gray, but it actually looks fairly green against the rest of the shadow there. Death Eaters, yeah. I actually just watched I just watched through the Harry Potter series recently, so maybe that's where my mind went with this one. That's very possible. Yeah, I don't. I think at this point, it's clear they are not friendly. So we'll see how this plays out. I don't know what's gonna happen, to be honest. Just kind of liking how this whole story is unfolding over here. Death Eaters, yeah. Oh, those movies are pretty entertaining. I enjoyed it. They definitely took some liberties with the books there, but yeah, you kind of have to when you're trying to condense a book down into a feature-length film. You have to make some sacrifices, I suppose. Oh, yeah. Some horses in this one, or some chained pets. You're saying that could be interesting, huh? Let's put a little puppy out here. I don't know. That's my impression of a puppy. It's not very good. I'm think I'm getting pretty burnt out on this, but I really like where this is right now. So I'm probably just gonna quit while I'm ahead for tonight. Yeah, we'll jump in and finish this up next week, or maybe sometime this week, depending upon how my my schedule's looking. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and this has been a lot of fun, and I am looking forward to finishing this with you next week. So keep an eye out for the next streaming date, and yeah, if you haven't already, you can go ahead and subscribe to my email list. I send out a notification every week with the time and date of the stream and other events and sales and stuff like that. So yeah, hope you all have a wonderful night or morning or day, whatever time it is for you, and I'll catch